the leader in talk radio on the Internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Alright folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
Wrong way. Welcome to the place. Welcome.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Wow. Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely.
Raynard Jackson. But I do want to say this about what he's trying to do. And you know that I don't necessarily gear myself to race, color, creed. I believe that we're all Americans accordingly. But there has been significant successes amongst African Americans who happen to be Republican, who happen to be conservative, who happen to be African American or colored or Negro or black, however way you wish to say it. And he is attempting to honor those particular individuals with a great honor as a trailblazer, someone who, before the camera crews got there, before it was popular in to be the black conservative, they were on the front lines and they were fighting. And so, for those who are following along at home, there's an opportunity for you to participate in this particular activity. And in fact, the activity actually takes place on the 13th and 14th at the Willard Intercontinental Hotel here in Washington, D.C. There's going to be a VIP reception on Saturday, February 13th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And from 9 to 12, there'll be a midnight networking and photo opportunity with the honorees. And then on Sunday, February the 14th, from noon to 3, the luncheon and award ceremony will take place. And this is all at the Willard Intercontinental Hotel, 1401 Pennsylvania Avenue, Northwest Washington, D.C. His organization is Black Americans for a Better Future. Black Americans for a Better Future. Raynard Jackson happens to be the founder and chairman. And they will be honoring, and I know you love her, and I love her too because she's such a beautiful woman, former Lieutenant Governor of Florida, Jennifer Carroll.
Who, by the way, is a former co-host here on Conservative Commando's radio show. Lady that I miss working with, I got to tell you.
I know. She is head and shoulders.
She's dynamite.
Of her peers. Ambassador Harold E. Doley Jr. Will receive a Trailblazing Financier Award. He was one of the first African Americans to buy a seat on the New York Stock Exchange. Jimmy Jones, who is a legendary ABA, NBA basketball player and elected to the LA Sports Hall of Fame. Allegra McCullough, who is professor at Webster University. And also Fred McClure, who's CEO of George H.W. Bush's Presidential Library. And a special honor to Robert L. Woodson Sr., who is founder and president of the Center for Neighborhood Enterprise. This is going to be a star-studded affair, and we encourage you, if you have the opportunity to attend, to do so. You can get in contact with Mr. Raynard Jackson by going directly to his Facebook page, Raynard Jackson. It's spelled just as you hear it, R-A-Y-N-A-R-D, last name Jackson, J-A-C-K-S-O-N. And make all your checks payable to Black Americans for a Better Future. He'll get in contact with you and let you know exactly how to do that. Or if you wish, you can send an email to Trailblazer2016. Trailblazer2016, like the Portland Trailblazers. BAFBF.org.
And you said you were going to have a table there, Ken?
I'm going to have a table there, my wife and I, and we're going to encourage some people to come and have a good time.
When is this, Ken? When is this again?
This is the 13th and the 14th. The 14th is the actual
February or March? February, March, what month?
February, this month, next week.
Next week?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I might come down, Ken.
Perfect.
If I can.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm having a bit of an eyesight problem, and I don't get around as much as I used to. But I'm going to see what I can do about that.
That's perfect.
What day of the week's that fall on? February 13th and 14th. That's a Saturday and a Sunday.
That's correct.
All right.
Absolutely correct. That would be absolutely picture perfect. We would love to have you.
Okay, that'd be great. And when you say you're having a table there, what are you going to do with your table?
I'm going to entertain them with stories of grandeur.
You are.
There's going to be a great feast. They're going to provide some great food. You know I'm a food man.
Okay. So yes. Yeah, I do know that about you, Ken. Hey, listen, a hearty appetite is a good thing. It really is. Hearty appetite is a good thing. Very good. All right, Ken, we got 2 minutes before our next break. Anything else on your radar screen you wanted to talk about?
Well, on my radar screen today is the District of Columbia. And I'm going to be as gentle as I can possibly say this. If anybody listened to my show earlier this week, I think it was the Tuesday night show, I went ballistic. The district government has decided that they're going to pay criminals not to commit crimes.
Is that a little like blackmail, Ken? I mean, my gosh. We could, Ken, you know what? We could make a fortune. You and I just go to the other side. We can make a fortune. Here's an opportunity to be an entrepreneur. All right. So for those of you in Washington D.C. who are doing the right thing, who are being upbiding citizens, who are being good citizens under the law, here's an entrepreneurial opportunity for you to go to the other side. And Washington, D.C. is going to pay you not to commit a crime. Wow. I love this concept.
We're talking 200 potential criminals. 200 potential criminals.
Well, let's make that 202. Ken McClinton and Rick Trader, all right?
I put my name on that list. I'm ready to top.
My God.
$17,500. $7,500 per person.
Oh, my God.
Only in the District of Columbia could this possibly happen.
I mean, this is stupid. This is really stupid.
So.
Hey, Ken, with that, we got to. I don't know what else to say after that, Ken. We got to go to a break, and you're listening to Conservative Commando's radio show with Ken McClinton and Rick Trader, coming to you from the studios of the Conservative Commando's radio network at WNJC in Philly. Around the world on the internet with American Patriots Broadcasting, TalkStream Live, SHR Media, K98 Talk, iHeartRadio, Rebooting Liberty Radio, and AM/FM 24/7. On the other side, our guest is going to be Ben Johnson from LifeSite News. Be right back.
Yeah, that's my prerogative. They say I'm nasty, but
You've heard Paul Deltz playing the music on the Your Music Matters morning show. He is also an experienced mortgage loan officer working for U.S. Mortgage Corporation and assists homeowners navigate the reverse mortgage process. If you are finding yourself asking questions whether or not you set aside enough for retirement, Paul can sit down with you, your family, and your financial advisor and discuss how a reverse mortgage may be a valuable resource for your retirement plan. You will be responsible for paying your taxes and insurance, and the reverse mortgage can help with this and other expenses, such as home health care or other untimely bills. Put Paul's 20-plus plus years of experience to work for you, as choosing the right option for your situation can be critical. Call Paul at U.S. Mortgage Corporation at 877-213-9977. That's 877-213-9977. Or go to seniormatters.info for more information. U.S. Mortgage Corporation is a licensed mortgage banker in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware, and an equal housing lender. NMLS number 3901. U.S. Mortgage Corporation is located at 201 Old Country Road, Suite 140, Melville, New York, 11747. This advertisement applies to first lien mortgages. Paul E. Dilks, NMLS is 485904.
Hi, this is Bob Biden, owner of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glasper, New Jersey. I've had the opportunity to travel in many foreign countries, and I've seen what happens to people when they lose their freedom. I wrote this poem. Give us freedom was the cry as they marched throughout the night. At Concord Bridge in Trenton, for freedom they would fight. To build a nation that would last with peace and liberty, it is a job that's never done if we are to be free. They wrote a declaration to announce that we are free, then a constitution for all the world to see. But this is ink on paper. We must make it last. It must always be defended, and that is quite a task. Today the battle rages for freedom in our land. To save our Constitution, we all must take a stand. We must stand up for freedom in our actions every day, and you can stand up with us. Join the NRA. This is Bob Biden of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glasper, New Jersey. You may call us at area code 856-881-7575 or visit us online at bobslittle.sportshop.com.
What does it take to be the leader in production systems technology? To be the one company that solves production problems at any plant, for any product, and with any technology? It takes a 30-year record of success. It takes total mastery of complex technologies with a history of delivering success every time, without fail. Only one company can claim that high ground in manufacturing line optimization, data automation, and systems integration, and that's Philadelphia Control Systems. In factories worldwide, Philadelphia Control Systems programs, software, and engineering solutions deliver optimal performance and output flow with a record that can't be matched. Any plant, any product, any technology. Philadelphia Control Systems, the leader in production automation since 1982. 800-335-9811. PCS4automation.com. That's PCS, the number 4, automation.com.
The Conservative Commandos radio show is expanding to become the Conservative Commandos Radio Network. We're establishing a front line of conservative radio broadcasters and ironclad patriots to declare war against the madness of liberalism and the Obama administration. Are you tired, as I am, about the disregard for our Constitution? Do you still have faith in the American dream? Are you looking for sensible, smart radio? If so, listen to the Conservative Commandos Radio Network every weekday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. on WNJC Radio 1360 a.m. or around the world on the internet at WNJCradio.com. Check out our websites, ConservativeCommandosRadioNetwork.com and CCRN.com for rebroadcasts and network updates. We are the Conservative Commandos Radio Network, where even more newsmakers go to be heard.
From the East Coast to the West Coast and around the world on the internet, we're coming to you live from the CCRS studios, WNJC 1360. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show with your host, Rick Trader. The Conservative Commandos radio show, where the newsmakers go to be heard. You can call the Conservative Commandos radio show at 856-227-1360. Your opinion counts at 856-227-1360.
This is Congressman Alan West, and you're listening to the Conservative Commando radio show.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you so much for tuning in today. And if you would like to hear rebroadcast of today's show, please check out our websites, www.ccrsnetwork.com and www.ccrshow.com. On mornings at 9 a.m., log on to leadingedgeradionetwork.com. Or at 1 p.m., log on to www.roarradio.net, that's ROAR radio.net, And at 9 p.m., log on to highplainsdailynews.com. Now you can listen to the Conservative Commandos from any phone, anywhere, by calling 832-999-1199. Our next guest has a very poignant position in society. He has an opportunity at ground level to cover some of the biggest stories in American history. He is the U.S. Bureau Chief of LifeSiteNews.com. He is the author of 3 books, Ben was managing editor of Front Page Magazine, and he is also a regular guest on the AFR Talk Network, Nothing But Truth with Crane Durham. We want to introduce some, present to others, Mr. Ben Johnson. It's a pleasure and honor to have you with us today.
Always good to be on with the Conservative Commandos. Thank you for having me on the radio.
Terrific. Listen, Ben, you've been covering stories for a little while, maybe a couple of days or two. Have you ever heard of a story like David Dowdy?
I've never heard of anything like this ever before in my life. What we've really seen with this poor man, he's 27 years old. He's spent 3 years of his life infiltrating Planned Parenthood. And everybody has seen the videos. Hopefully your listeners have seen them. People all over the country, including our legislators and state attorneys general and people who are in a position to prosecute Planned Parenthood, have seen them. Planned Parenthood is caught on film discussing how they changed the abortion technique, which is against medical ethics. They perform something that sure sounds like a partial birth abortion, which has been illegal since 2003, and they sell human body parts for what's called valuable consideration, which is to say they turn a profit from selling babies' body parts on the black market. They're doing all this. They discuss how they hide it, how they make it look legal. All of these things are federal felonies, and instead of indicting them, the Harris County, Texas grand jury indicted David DeLayton because he used a false ID in order to do this, and because they say that he was the one trying to buy body parts.
Hey, can I jump in for a minute, Ken? I'm sorry, Ken and Ben. I need to jump in because this really fries my you-know-what. Ben, do you remember Abscam?
Right, the ab scam from the 1970s.
Correct.
Several congressmen, including John Murtha,
correct,
saying that they would accept money from the Arabs, yeah.
Correct. Now, and also, 60 Minutes television has done similar things. There have been many reporters throughout the country for quite some time that have done the same thing. And it just fries me that this poor man who's trying to save babies' lives, save babies' lives here, not just entrap a dirty congressman, but save babies' lives, that he was targeted for prosecution.
It shows so much the inhumanity of the abortion industry. I mean, here's a group that's willing to profit off of not only killing the child, but then will sort of recycle the child's body parts for valuable gain. And when he exposed this, he's the one who comes under fire. It's typical tactics for the abortion industry. They always turn the table on anyone who exposes them. A few years ago, there was an attorney general out in Kansas, Phil Klein, who found out that Planned Parenthood was not reporting cases of pedophilia where very young girls were coming in pregnant, getting abortions because their abusers were trying to cover up their crimes. When he exposed that, he ended up being prosecuted and losing his law life. We also saw what happened with the Susan G. Komen Foundation when they exposed the fact that Planned Parenthood doesn't do mammograms. And they, for a moment, tried to cut off their funding there.
Well, isn't it true? Ben, again, I hate to interrupt you because I hate to interrupt guests. But isn't it true that Planned Parenthood provides very little women's services other than abortion?
They provide abortion and they provide contraception. That is essentially it. When it comes to their much vaunted mammograms, finally under oath, when she's in front of Congress, Cecile Richards, who's the president and CEO, and more importantly probably CEO because she's very interested in their bottom line, testified before Congress that no, in fact, we don't have mammogram machines at any of our offices. We don't regularly offer mammograms. But she was on CNN saying that they did a few years ago. So finally she put the lie to that. For the most part, they're not interested in helping women. They're interested in helping women come in for an abortion And abortion really doesn't help women. It really helps men abandon women.
Now, Ben, and we're talking with Ben Johnson, who's the U.S. Bureau Chief of LifeSite News, and I'm just so glad to have you on the air with us. This is a man of great wisdom and experience with these particular stories. And we're not getting a filter. We're getting the absolute truth here. When was the last time a court... I mean, I don't understand how you can go into court. The charges are against Planned Parenthood, and they charge David Dalladin? How does that happen?
Well, Ken, and again, I am so sorry, Ben. I have to apologize for doing that. Maybe Ben can help me on this.
Apologize.
But from what I understand, one of the people who works in that district attorney's office is on the board of Planned Parenthood there in Houston. Ben, am I correct about that?
Well, you are correct about that. And now, the person in question was not part of this investigation, according to the lady who runs the office. The district attorney is named Devon Anderson. However, Devon Anderson has got a kind of a spotty record. She was appointed to the position. Her husband used to be DA in Harris County. And when he died, the governor at that time, Rick Perry, appointed her to be DA. She's got very close ties to a man named Chip Lewis. Chip Lewis was the attorney for an abortionist named Douglas Carpenter. I don't know if you heard about that case. It came along right about the same time as Kermit Gosnell. According to 3 people in his office, Douglas Carpenter was allowing babies to be born alive and then killing bare hands outside.
Oh, my God.
They had not only the testimony of 3 people in his office, but they also had photographic evidence to this as fact. The grand jury in Harris County, same grand jury, same prosecutor, declined to indict.
Oh, my God.
Now, his attorney was Chip Lewis, who has given more than $25,000 to Devon Anderson. He is a very close family friend of Devon and Mike Anderson, the late Mike Anderson. And he has gotten more of his clients' charges dismissed than an average batting average would suggest. So I think he's a really good lawyer, where he has a really good friend in Devon Anderson.
And is this just a Houston thing, or is this the power of Planned Parenthood?
Well, Planned Parenthood, you have to remember, is willing to spend up to $20 million this year alone at the national level in political elections. It has tremendous clout, and Planned Parenthood does what our side is so bad at, which is getting its side engaged in culture. They go out and talk to people. They brand themselves very well. They have, the pink outfits that everyone wears. Everyone seems to think that they're a pro-woman organization, and they brand themselves exquisitely. They connect with people. They have a very positive image, and they can bring a lot of heat and a lot of pain to bear if you're against them, and they can bring a lot of money your way if you're in favor of them. They played a major role in helping Barack Obama be reelected, in defeating several politicians around the country. Not many people want to tangle with them. And as I said, what happened to Phil Klein, what happened to Susan G. Komen, and now what's happening to David Daleiden, it's just more evidence of their bare-fisted intimidation tactics. And this is what they mete out to anybody who stands up against their bottom line.
Wow. And now, David Daleiden, because there's another young lady who's also charged, Sandra Merritt. But David Daleiden appeared in court the other day about 11 o'clock, noon Eastern time on yesterday, I believe. And there were over 106,000 signatures demanding that the Harris County DA drop the charges. What became of that?
Well, the group that I work with, LifeSite News, came up with this petition asking that these charges be dropped, and very respectfully asking that Devon Anderson simply drop the charges against this man who's using nothing more than typical investigative techniques for a journalist, and that the charges against Planned Parenthood were really the focus, not David Daleiden and the fact that he exposed them, and to consider dropping these charges against Daleiden and the lady you mentioned, Sandra Merritt. We delivered all of those signatures to the Harris County grand jury, I should say to the Harris County DA's office yesterday. A man named Reverend Pat Mahoney called a press conference. We were there alongside Operation Rescue, Students for Life of America, and some other organizations. Peter Breen from the Thomas More Law Society, who is David Daleiden's lawyer, everyone who was there spoke out forcefully and effectively about the fact that these charges have no basis in the law. They will not stand up. This would be a waste of taxpayers' money. And if these charges are not dropped, then the people of Houston, who just recently defeated an ordinance trying to force members of the opposite sex into the opposite biological sex's restrooms, we're going to rise up and demand someone new in the district attorney's office, other than Devon Anderson, who got in sort of through nepotism when her husband died. So this needs to come to an end. These charges need to be dropped, but there needs to be a change in leadership in Houston.
Ben, we have to go to a break, but when we come back, I want to talk with you about the Houston Mafia. And you know what I'm talking about. And we can talk distinctly about not only the mayor, but the DA and a lot of the government officials and what they've been doing in Houston to get back, or at least to install their agendas. We're talking today with Ben Johnson, who is U.S. Bureau Chief at LifeSiteNews.com. And we're coming to you live from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios, WNJC 1360, our flagship station in Philadelphia, and around the world on the Internet with American Patriots Broadcasting, TalkStream Live, SHR Media, K98 Talk, iHeartRadio, and AM FM 24/7. We will be back with more of Ben Johnson and the heresy of Houston.
They say I'm crazy, I really don't care. That's my prerogative. They say I'm nasty, but I...
The Conservative Commandos radio show is expanding to become the Conservative Commandos Radio Network. We are establishing a front line of conservative radio broadcasters and ironclad patriots to declare war against the madness of liberalism and the Obama administration. Are you tired of the disregard for our Constitution? Do you still have faith in the American dream? Are you looking for sensible, smart radio? If so, listen to the Conservative Commandos Radio Network every weekday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on WNJC Radio, 1360 on your AM dial, or around the world on the Internet at WNJCradio.com. Check out our website, ccrsnetwork.com, for rebroadcasts and network updates. We are the Conservative Commandos Radio Network, where now even more newsmakers go to be heard.
Hi, this is Bob Viden, owner of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glassboro, New Jersey. I've had the opportunity to travel in many foreign countries, and I've seen what happens to people when they lose their freedom. I wrote this poem. Give us freedom was the cry as they marched throughout the night. At Concord Bridge in Trenton, for freedom they would fight. To build a nation that would last with peace and liberty, it is a job that's never done if we are to be free. They wrote a declaration to announce that we are free, then a constitution for all the world to see. But this is ink on paper. We must make it last. It must always be defended, and that is quite a task. Today the battle rages for freedom in our land. To save our Constitution, we all must take a stand. We must stand up for freedom in our actions every day, and you can stand up with us. Join the NRA. This is Bob Viden of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glassboro, New Jersey. You may call us at area code 856-881-7575 or visit us online at bobslittle.sportshop.com.
From the East Coast to the West Coast and around the world on the Internet, we're coming to you live from the CCRS studios, WNJC 1360. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show with your host, Rick Trader. The Conservative Commandos radio show, where the newsmakers go to be heard. You can call the Conservative Commandos radio show at 856-227-1360. Your opinion counts at 856-227-1360.
This is Congressman Alan West, and you're listening to the Conservative Commando radio show.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are as enraged as I am, you more than likely want to hear this rebroadcast or at least share it with someone of today's show. Please check out our websites, www.ccrsnetwork.com and www.ccrshow.com. On mornings at 9 a.m., log on to leadingedgeradionetwork.com, or at 1 p.m., log on to www.roarradio.net. That's ROAR radio.net. And at 9 p.m., log on to highplainsdailynews.com. Now you can listen to the Conservative Commandos anywhere in the world from any phone by calling 832-999-1199. We're with Ben Johnson, who is the U.S. Bureau Chief for LifeSite News. First and foremost, Ben, can you tell us a little bit about LifeSite News and why you decided to be their U.S. Bureau Chief?
Well, LifeSite News is the largest pro-life website in the world. We have 3 million unique viewers every single month, and we cover the news of life, family, about abortion, euthanasia, also the reality of marriage, and issues now. The largest issue that's cropping up right now, the trendy one now that gay marriage is settled, is transgender issues. So we're dealing with all of these threats to life and family, to people who are interested, particularly conservative people and people of faith, Monday through Friday.
Well, we appreciate the fine work that you do, and also the fine work of Dustin Sigging, who works for LifeSite News. He's a great journalist and has been covering this particular story. Ben, I want to ask you, Texas is a red state. I mean, just when you think of Texas, you think of just rawhide American interests. The cowboy interest, per se. You think of Republican. You think of conservatism. How is it that Houston is so different from the rest of Texas?
Well, Houston is a little bit different in the sense that it has a lot more registered Democrats. Of course, you think of Austin. Austin is sort of, almost like New York City West or San Francisco East in some ways. So there are parts of Texas, although Texas is a very red state, traditional, and very faith-informed state, big cities in every state tend to be more liberal, and Houston is no exception. Their mayor, Annalise Parker, is an open lesbian. She subpoenaed the sermons of many ministers a few months ago because they opposed a transgender ordinance that would force people to allow members of one biological sex into the restrooms and showers of the opposite biological sex if they felt like they were men or women that particular day. So it's an area that kind of stands out for its politics, being left of center anywhere in the country, especially very far left of the Texas average. So Houston's a different kind of town, but regardless of what's going on, I think everyone, right and left, can agree, regardless of how you feel about abortion, which I feel is a defining issue. When you look at abortion, at a minimum, we should say that the body parts of human beings should not be for sale. No one should make money off of selling body parts, and everyone should comply with federal and Texas state law. And that's what Planned Parenthood has not been doing. That's what David Daleiden exposed, Sandra Merritt exposed. And now, instead of the guilty being punished, the guilty being set free, and those who brought light onto this situation are the ones who are being threatened with 20 years in prison. It's not right, it's not just, and it should be reversed.
Ben, is there any statement from the governor, Abbott, regarding this particular matter?
Well, Governor Abbott and also the Attorney General, Ken Paxton, have both said that the investigation at the state level is still going on. And I'm glad that you raised that. This is one investigation in one area because David Daleiden and the Center for Medical Progress went all over the country filming people, and all of them readily agreed, yes, we would love to have your money, say $60, $70 per body part, and sometimes haggling over prices to get the maximum amount of money out of their aborted babies. And it just so happened that one of the people they filmed was Melissa Farrell, who's with Planned Parenthood Gulf Coast, located in Houston. So they brought this case before the local grand jury. The local grand jury didn't say anything on this. However, there's a Texas state investigation going on. We know that Congress has got a special select committee looking into this. So there's a congressional national investigation going on, several state investigations as well, all of them looking at the evidence, all of them trying to sort through what's going on. and to see that justice is done when it comes to the fact that human body parts should not be for sale, regardless of how you feel about abortion.
Exactly. Listen, I'm going to run out of time. We only got a few minutes left. But I have to ask this question, then I want you to tell everyone how they can get LifeSite News. Regarding David and also Sandra, are there any hopes that these charges will be dropped? And if not, how can people fight for these citizen journalists who were just trying to do what the Congress and what the government did not do?
I think there's a great deal of hope these charges are going to be dismissed because they're baseless. There's absolutely no legal recourse whatever involved in this. There's simply nothing that would commend these charges to a grand jury. I believe that they will be dismissed. I think Devon Anderson will take a look at the evidence and realize that this is a runaway jury. This was influenced perhaps by politics or some other influence, but not strictly by the law, and that these charges will be dropped and dismissed. And they certainly can, and they should. We've got, as we said, more than 100,000 signatures delivered to her desk, and we're still collecting signatures. Hopefully even more people will speak up and demand that not only these charges be dropped, but that Planned Parenthood face justice for what it's done as well.
Hey, Ken, before you wrap up with Ben, I wanted to ask you this. Let's think outside the box a little bit. Let's look for a silver lining here. Does this case against the citizen journalist help to bring even more exposure to the problem of Planned Parenthood harvesting and selling baby parts?
I hope that is what will come out of it. You know, there's a wonderful line in the Bible. I'm a believer, and maybe many of your listeners are as well, that when Joseph was sold into slavery in Egypt, he said to his brothers, "You meant it for harm, but God brought it about as it is today, that he worked it for good to save the lives of many people." I believe that's what's going to come out of this case, is that many lives are going to be saved because the light will be shown into Planned Parenthood. They'll expose the evil of abortion and what this industry is really all about, which is profiting off of human suffering.
Ben, please tell our audience once again how they can keep track of the great work that LifeSite News does.
Sure. Every day, Monday through Friday, you can check us out, lifesitenews.com. That's life, S-I-T-E, like life, like website, lifesitenews.com.
Ben Johnson, U.S. Bureau Chief for lifesitenews.com. We want to thank you so much for joining us. You guys do great work. It gives me a little heart knowing there are people like you, people like David out there.